Well, guys, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for a video. I got to get something out there. I want it to be good. I don't want to put out half-ass stuff, but I'm just so busy right now. It's really hard to focus on one particular thing. It's just been so many things at once. Had a 90 weight jug fall over in the back of the truck. I got to get this pressure washer and clean my truck out now. It is a filthy mess. But I've been working 7 days a week. I had a 387 Peterbilt yesterday that I did a front. Well, I came down here, I put the fuel tank back in that swather finally. Got it going. A Challenger swather. I got a 4850 John Deere, right? And then I had a 387 Peterbilt that I did steer axle brakes and a front main seal on. I had a 387 Peterbilt before that I swapped transmissions out on. Got that done Friday or Saturday. I don't know, all the days are running together here. Anyways, I got a 4850 John Deere that one of these ends, the tube cracked, and I had fittings for it, so I made a hose. Hopefully that works. Hopefully that's the right, should be number 12s. Yeah, okay. Anyway, my phone's going off now. Yeah, okay, I already got your stuff done. Anyway, so I gotta get that Case tractor back together. I got the 6430 Premium all done. I messaged them, told them to come get it. Got the air conditioner fixed, all the wiring harnesses changed on it, caught on fire, lift pump changed. The 6155, the guy that's the guy that owns this tractor is coming to get this tractor so he can bail with my tractor. I got it rented out to him. But this one here is going to be a huge job. He looks like he already started pulling panels off of it for me. He pulled the loader off. I've done this job numerous times on this one. This will be the third time I've done this one. There's a shaft that comes off. Runs off the pressure plate on the clutch, and it's a dry coupling. And what it does, it goes through the transmission and it runs a, I think, the charge pump, and it's got a snap ring on it. Well, on this end, the splines wear out and strips the splines on them. Then it doesn't turn the pump, and then the tractor won't move, and you won't have hydraulics, you won't have anything back here. So in order to fix that, you have to split it here between the engine transmission, and then I just pull the cabs on these. I mean, everything has to come off. Fuel tanks have to come off. Then you got to pull the transmission off the rear end, and then pull that snap ring, pull the shaft clear out the front, and order the shaft and replace it. This will be the third one I've put in this tractor. I keep telling him to get rid of this piece of shit, but he loves it. So anyways, we got to run out and do this 4850. Got a 4020 here, that old 4020 John Deere. I need to get my butt on it too. And need to pull this wedge and this tire and this final drive brake housing assembly. The seals popped clear out of it for some reason. I got a feeling they lost bearings or something in this old girl. We got to get on that too. Come on, Daisy, we got a lot of irons in the fire. Let's get going. So I'll take you out here to the, my air conditioner on. Just seeing a puddle of wetness underneath my spring. That's got to be from the air conditioner. Come on, Dave, let's go. Come on. Let's go get this 4850 together. Oh, yeah, then we got to go look at the 6430 that's derating. Come on, babe. Come on. Come on. Let's go, sis. Come on. Let's go, babe. She always comes in and does her little loop. She tries to get her trajectory right when she's coming in. Alright guys, I'll see you when we get out to that tractor. Well, we're almost to the 4850. That's a pretty place here. It kind of borders the refuge here. I think he's trying to sell it. This is a good customer of mine. He's a good guy. He's been going back, and he took off for a couple days because he had to go to Arizona for Cancer Treatments of America. That's where he's been going. He had skin cancer. He's gonna be okay. He was proactive enough that he went into Klamath, and the doctors were giving him the runaround in Klamath, and he said to hell with him, and he took matters into his own hands and called this Cancer Treatments of America Center in Arizona, and they got on it, and they've got it under control now, and they cut out the skin cancer, but he had to go back for another round to cut some more stuff out of him. But he said this should be the last round and he should be okay. But he's been working every day. This guy's a workaholic like me. This guy used to be an energy engineer, believe it or not. See, you know, I get a lot of people telling me about how bad Californians are. This guy was an energy engineer and was based out of the Bay Area. His family owned this place up here, but you know, they're originally from down there, and they're not left-wing lunatics, you know, that are burning down people's places. They farm and ranch. I mean, everybody from California doesn't fit this stereotype that's constantly thrown in our face. You guys should probably, if you ever get bored and you want to listen to a really smart guy, listen to a guy named Victor Davis Hanson. He's a professor at Stanford University, and he's probably one of the smartest guys I've ever listened to. A very sharp guy. I love listening to him. But I mean, he'll explain to you what happens in California. We have the coast. We have the coast over there. Then we have the interior of the state. And the coast makes up the decisions for the entire interior. Most of the interior of the state is just like people in Texas and just like people everywhere else. We just don't have a say in anything that goes on because they're so overpopulated in those areas, and we just, you know, it's mob rule is basically what it is. We just don't have any say in our voting system. I don't know if you could be able to see much, but wonderful. I got to get some brake clean. The dang thing fell down in the dirt. Damn it. Okay, I think I got her cleaned out. So, the thought process on this whole thing was to maybe, I put a 45 on one end. I'm thinking about the 45 might go out here. Hopefully, it's going to fit. Yeah, I'm thinking I might have just made a, what if I put the straight end on this end? Alright guys, I got that hose all in there. Right here, I'm gonna have to do something here. See, that tube was made to where it went around that corner. So the hose is gonna rub right on the corner of that frame flange, and that's not good. We gotta get some radiator hose or something and cut it and shove it in between there and that way it rubs on that instead of the hose. Protect that. But other than that, the hose set up, I got it tucked up in the frame rail. Turned out pretty good. But before I call it and put this heavy, if you guys ever worked on these 50 series, 55 series, this big old frame stiffener, it's so wonderful. It's heavy. It's awkward. We got to start dumping oil, and that's one thing I didn't really care for about the older tractors is trying to get oil in them back here. They kind of sucked. You know, it'd been nice if they'd have made that tube come out here and then, you know, like made it come vertical instead of at an angle, kind of halfway underneath the cab. Get a funnel there, and he got me what? It lost a lot. He was disking and he just didn't even see it until it started spraying on the window. He said the window got wet and he shut it down when he was turning around. So you can see it was blowing everywhere, and the fan was hitting it and blowing the oil everywhere. about 7 gallons in it. Let's fire it up and see if we have any leaks any place else. Okay, this thing here is kind of a hard starting old tractor, but we'll see what happens here.
Timeout. We'll be back in just seconds.
Where's the radio at? Ugh, blower motor's on. Ooh, those sound kind of nasty.
They produced over 100,000 plant.
Shut up. Alrighty. Through the Planetary power shift transmission in this one here years ago. About $16,000 worth of work, because this one was totally shot. Let's run the remotes back here. Now we stroke the pump, put some pressure on that system. Let's see what it does. I don't see any drips anywhere. Okay, well, I'll check the oil again now that everything's charged up on it. Oh, these sure are good old tractors here. Damn good old tractors. People, I'm old-fashioned too. I work on a lot of electronic stuff, and I try to pride myself as being able to do pretty good on some of that stuff as well. And I don't like it. You know, it's like this 6430 I'm going, they're trying to rake hay right now, and it's so gutless and it's derated because there's an EGR problem and it won't hardly even rake, you know. Let's see what we got for oil now. Let me set this here and I'll have to wipe this thing up, re-stick it. Alright, trying to get it somewhere maybe. I'll put it up here kind of sideways, I guess. Alright, this is the part I don't like. This sucker's heavy. Do you really want this back on there? Okay. Alright, how am I going to do this? Will you balance there? I'm going to roll off and smash my head. Once I get underneath here, I'm trying to remember how I did this before. think I stuck my feet up underneath it. And then set it on the studs like that. And get a nut started on it before it falls back off. Okay. That's started on there now. Alright. And there's a bunch of bolts that go up here in the frame rail with keepers, that nuts on the other side of it. So, alright, I'm pretty much getting close to the finish line here. Oh, we are going out to the old airplane hangar out here. When I was a kid, this was called the Kendale Ranch. Or, well, yeah, it used to be called the Kendale Ranch years ago. It's just a beautiful place out here. You know, remember the old, I don't know if you guys remember the old Marmon dump truck, but it's out here. And starter's hung up in it or something. Tight here, Hyundais for a truck. Now there's the backhoe. I think that's a 7G there, I think. Nah, that's older than that. There's a 120 John Deere 120 excavator. Trying to remember, I think you go this way, I believe. That ain't a bad looking excavator. He said they just got that very recently, so. Yeah, when I was a kid, the people that owned this place out here had their own runway and own airplane hangar, and they were pretty big loggers and farmers and stuff like that, and they got killed in the plane. Here's the runway right here, but anybody want an old Ford? What is that, an F500, F600? He said they'll sell it cheap. There's the old grader. Well, there's the old Marmon. Here's the old airplane hangar right here. This is the runway, of course. Let's go back in there. Hey guys, so I'm sorry this video was not the more or less educational type video of mechanic and repair, you know, and troubleshooting steps or anything like that. But anyway, sometimes I like to just break up the monotony, and like I said, I haven't really had a lot of time here lately to really focus on one project. It's really just been, I got really far behind working on the dozers down south, really far behind on a lot of service calls, and now these guys are haying, and calls like this here, I've just got a ton of service calls. I'm trying to get caught up to where I can get some of my shop work done. And when I get into the shop work too, I'll I'll make some in-depth videos of some of the projects I'm doing. I've got some pretty good projects coming up. At a TW25 Ford tractor that you saw there in the beginning of the video, that's going to be pretty in-depth project, probably splitting it between the engine and transmission, pulling the cab, splitting transmission from the rear end, and pulling that live shaft out of there. And then I've got a fairly new customer, and I've done quite a bit of work for him already, but he's got me, he manages a pumice plant. It's actually a mine is what it is, where they mine pumice out in a place called Tia Nesta, California. And he's so far been a really good guy with me, and I'm glad I met him, because he works about as hard as I do, and he's a go-getter, and he has a bunch of his own trucks that he hauls chips from the mill when he's not managing the mine out there in Tia Nesta, because the mine doesn't run year-round. They only mine pumice. I don't know that much about it, to be honest with you, but I've been out there once, and anyways, it sounds like I'm going to be going out there quite a bit more to work on their loaders and the crusher and stuff. I guess the crusher's got a problem right now, and I might be going out there maybe tomorrow and working on a crusher, which, to be honest with you, I've never worked on a crusher before, but it's just another machine. I'll figure it out. Anyways, yeah, I'm working on some marmon here. I'm trying to jump across a starter solenoid with a couple of screwdrivers. That's kind of my way of figuring out real quick, fast, in a hurry, if you got a starter problem or you got a wiring problem, or a switch. Is I'll just go ahead and ensure that the truck's in neutral, and I'll just jump across the signal wire to the hot post on the starter, and if it starts, then I know I got to start tracing either a signal wire, or maybe I've got a bad ground going to the starter, or a bad ground coming off the battery, or dead batteries, or starter relay problem. There can be a multitude of things it can be. On this one here, to be completely honest with you, really don't know what happened here. I kind of think that he had maybe a faulty. I think maybe the battery disconnect switch might be going bad, because I couldn't get anything at first jumping across the battery disc, or jumping across the signal wire to the big post on the starter solenoid, and I turned the battery disconnect switch on and off a couple times. I went and got a meter here, as you can see, and I started testing things. Well, all of a sudden, I got it to start. So I really, he showed up, and then it was starting with the key in the cab, and I mean, we probably started and stopped it. I didn't show it here, probably 20 times, and it never failed one time. I said, man, I don't know what to tell you. I went over some other connections and tightened stuff up, made sure stuff was tight, and I hate it when stuff like that happens, and you're trying to, especially when the customer shows up, and you don't even really know what you did. And then the customer's sitting there going, what the hell did you do? Because I couldn't get it to work. And then I tell him, I don't know what the hell I did. So, anyways, I hate not knowing what's wrong, because they're going to call you back. You know it's going to do it again, because you didn't find the problem. So, it's just one of those things. But anyway, yeah, I should have some pretty good footage coming up. Well, guys, the manager of this place pulled up on his four-wheeler, and we got to BSing out there in front of the old hangar, and then, lo and behold, a 300, 400-pound black bear just walks across the runway right in front of us. So the dog started going wild and crazy, and we kind of had to shoo them back, because, yeah, them black bears, they're not real dangerous, but they'll tear a dog up. But anyways, I thought maybe you guys would enjoy that. Sorry, the footage isn't very good. I just flipped my phone out, because that's all I had with me at the time, and started recording.